Is it possible to start up a scratch dental practice while you're still in dental school? Let's find out.
Making it happen, and we so passionate. Right. With dental training, growing your dental practices every single day. Gotta keep rising, be a better version of you. We call it Kaizen. Yeah, practice biopsy. Going up, no stopping. Yeah, practice biopsy. Let's go.
Hey, Practice Biopsy. It's D'Angelo here. Business support and self-improvement strategies for dentists and dental students. So let's get into this. So the topic of this video is going to be looking at how I started up, or laid the foundation to start up my from scratch dental practice while I was still a student in dental school at the University of Michigan School of Dentistry. Okay, so when we talk about starting a practice while we're still in dental school, okay, let's go back here. Okay, so how is that possible? What does it look like? Because many dentists, especially when they're students, they all often have this dream of one day owning their dental practice. And they get out of school and they work for a corporate office, and you know, the years go by, and then 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 7 years, and then maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. But me, I knew from the jump that I wanted to start up a dental practice from scratch. Okay, so that's what I did, right? And it all started with a school project. So at my dental school, University of Michigan, in order to graduate, you had to complete a thesis project, which was called the Pathways Project, and it could be any topic that you wanted. Okay, so most of the dental students did something like how to find MB2 or studying some obscure periodontal bacteria. I made my dental school project in order to graduate how to start and manage a dental practice. That was my project. So I had to lay the foundation to start up a real dental practice for my project. And I had years of time to work on that in school and was able to get credit for that. And a lot of the resources I was able to accumulate, as we'll see, was related to being able to leverage the fact that I was a student and I needed to do research for a project. Okay? And there were a lot of naysayers along this journey. So pretty much everyone said that in today's era, you can't just do this out of school. There's too much student debt. The market's too saturated. It's not like it was in the 1980s. You can't do it anymore. But of the many dentists that I interviewed, and we'll learn a little bit more about that later in this video, of the many dentists that I interviewed, not that I agree with this particular statement. I'm not saying I agree with it, because I do not agree with it. But it got me to think, okay? So this particular mentor of mine, he did start his practice right out of school, and he did that back in the 1970s, so a long time ago. But he said that every dentist wants to own their own practice, and the ones that don't, that are your faculty, are the losers of the class. So I did not believe that or agree with that, but it stuck with me. It's like, this is someone's mindset that, like, the people that are telling me I can't, maybe there's another way to look at things. And here's this man who did what I thought I wanted to do, was start a practice straight out of school. So he gave me some strategies and some tips and showed me how his practice worked, told me some things that worked, told me some things that didn't. And before I knew it, I was doing the same thing. Okay, so D1 year, my first year of dental school, 4 years of dental school, everybody, of course. D1 year, I had the idea. That's when I started thinking about it and saying, you know, could I really start building a practice and laying the foundation for it while I was still in dental school? Could I do that? And then I decided I could. And I decided that is what I was going to do. So by my second year in dental school, I came up with the name of the practice, White Pine Dental. I purchased the web domain and several variations of the web domain just to be able to sit on those. And I had the logo designed. So the way I designed the logo is I designed it myself. I drew it. I incorporated themes of the name and came up with like a lore of what I wanted things to represent. And then I gave it to a graphic designer on Fiverr and had them fine-tune the design that I made for the logo. And that's still our logo now for the business. D3, I was finalizing my business plan, refining my business plan, coming up with it, and continuing research. So there's a lot of research in all of this. But coming up with my business plan, refining that, doing location search to really find what locations are going to be a good match for the skill set that I'm going to bring to the table, what locations are going to be a good match for the type of dentistry that I want to provide as a provider. So I was doing all that as D3 year. D4 year, I applied to banks. I was denied from 7 or 8 lenders, but finally was approved from one. So I got my loan pre-approval as a 4th year student. I finalized the location that I wanted. We had the rough draft blueprint for the floor plan design done. All the equipment was selected out. I had my list of equipment, list of supplies, everything I needed, and started to really refine my marketing strategy. So by the end of D4 year, really everything was done for the practice. The location was set, the design was done, everything was set in place, the business plan was done, the banking was approved. Really all I had to do was get my dental license so that things could start. Okay. From there on, construction did take the time that construction takes, which is almost a year of construction. Okay, but everything prior to that was done, ready to go for a successful startup while still in dental school. Okay, so as a new grad here, worked as an associate full time during the construction phase, and then I transitioned over to owning the office. Okay, so I graduated in 2016, started treating patients 2017. In my startup office, which went on to become a successful office. Okay, so how the heck did I get ready to do all this stuff? Okay, so number one, I read lots of business books. I was reading about a book a week in dental school, outside of the dental school curriculum. I was reading about one business book a week in terms of leadership, business, marketing, finances, taxes, like anything I could think of that would be related to this. I was also a business school drop-in. Okay. So we have a business school on campus at University of Michigan, and I would go drop in classes. So the big lecture hall style classes, I would just drop in, sit in the back, listen, absorb what I could. We had some phenomenal guest speakers. I remember one of the co-founders of Starbucks. He was one of the guest speakers. Someone early on involved in Twitter. They were one of the guest speakers, and just some really great lectures. And I was able to take in a lot of knowledge just from sitting in business school and being around that culture. Okay, something else for my project, I did mention it was a school project. That was an in that I had to offices. I would go to dental office and say, hey, can I interview you for a school project to analyze your dental practice, see what works and see what doesn't. I could look at their profit and loss statements, look at their schedules, look at their finances, look at their books and everything behind the scenes to see what worked and what didn't. I looked at office flow. What is the patient journey from the time they come in to the time they meet the dentist and have treatment completed and they're done and leave you a good review? What's that flow like? I studied all of that while I was still in school and could see what worked and what didn't. And I could see, this office is performing like this. What are the trends? This office is performing like this. What are the trends? And I was looking at all of that as a dental student. Okay, as you can imagine, doing all that work, going to these business school seminars, plus the workload at dental school could be a lot. So I recruited a team of interns to work under me. So I held a round of interview. I interviewed 10 to 15 candidates, and I picked 3 candidates to be my interns during dental school. These were pre-dental students, so students who wanted to go to dental school. In exchange for being interns, they would get a nice recommendation letter from me. One of them, many of you might know. Actually, I won't name drop him here. But many of you who are watching this in the Practice Biopsy group probably know who this person is. Anyways, I have a team of 3 interns, and I would delegate tasks each week. So each week we'd have a meeting. I'd bring donuts. I'd bring snacks. I'd say, this week, I need you guys to help me transcribe the interviews I did with these dentists. This week, I need you guys to cold call 10 offices each and find dentists who will let me visit and tour their practice so I can look around and see what's going on. Big test coming up. I need you guys to help me organize my notes, make some flashcards for me so I can study these and be ready for the test. I delegated these duties to the different interns that I had during dental school. Double down on strengths, grow as you go. As a new grad, doing a startup, I started small and grew from there, okay? I didn't start huge. I didn't buy the biggest and the best. I didn't start doing huge, big, crazy procedures. I took the skill set that I had as a new grad dentist, and I made sure I had the fundamentals down. I could do a filling really good. I could do a crown prep really good. I could clean teeth really good. I could do the basics. And I doubled down on building a dental practice that catered to people who need the basics, and I built up from there. And I let the practice grow as I grow, and I followed my strengths and followed my interests. This is a picture of my practice today, White Pine Dental, and this was all put into place as a dental student.